The Slayer of Hercules, second victor of humanity, most disrespected and dare I say underrated fighter in all of Ragnarok. Season 2 of the anime is out, so welcome to How Strong is Jack the Ripper? Subscribe for more. First off, take note I'll be talking about the main manga and the Jack the Ripper spin-off manga entitled Jack the Ripper Case Files, which currently has 3 chapters and is ongoing. Also at the end of the video, I'll consider Jack fighting every other fighter in the series thus far with London as the arena, so stay tuned. His unique ability is known as the Soul Eye, which allows Jack to read the emotions of others as they appear in colours. It also kinda seems like he forced his volume to occur with his Valkyrie, and this power may have had something to do with that. I personally hope this ability is expanded on in the spin-off manga, to I guess explain why he's so good at dodging or planning perhaps, or just more information about it. His Valkyrie's power is the Divine Gloves, allowing him to turn everything he touches into a divine weapon, as such something capable of harming the gods. This includes him just flicking a pebble to do this amount of damage. Everything in London had become a lethal weapon for Jack to use during this fight. So for an example, in another arena, if a part of it was to break apart during the fight, Jack could do something like this as an attack. To properly get a gauge of his strength, it's important to consider Hercules and how much of a monster he actually is. So once Sasaki defeated Poseidon and left all the gods stunned, we see the enraged Greek gods, and then this panel of Brynhilde saying the following. The gods' insufferable pride won't permit them to lose twice in a row. This next battle is one they cannot lose. They'll be giving it their all. And now with that in mind, consider that they chose Hercules and take a step back and look at the fight. Jack was turning everything since the start into a divine weapon, and Hercules was destroying many of these things. A level of power I like to talk about in most videos I discuss in Ragnarok. Are they capable of destroying a divine weapon, or did they do that in that fight? And Hercules falls into this category with a few other gods and humans. Something else important to note is that Brynhilde claimed that she prepared the perfect opponent for Hercules since the very beginning. Meaning Jack really can't be considered as this all-powerful savior character who she's got for any god like Adam or Nostradamus. This can be considered alongside the personality of Hercules, as Jack requested they fight in London, and of course he accepted. Definitely Brynhilde's scheming played a part in this fight, and we get to see this in the spin-off manga, with Brynhilde approaching Jack in I guess the afterlife, offering him the chance to slay a god. When you consider Jack's ability, consider the following things. He was able to react to Hercules casually around the start of the fight, comes of course into a fight prepared. He can curve his throwing knives, making them harder to block or dodge. Of course, he's able to block regular attacks from Hercules with his umbrella as he turned it into a divine weapon. He's able to survive Hercules' first labor hitting him and breaking through his umbrella. Once again, Hercules breaking through a divine weapon, and then Jack tanking that type of power. I'll go into more detail about Jack's durability in this whole situation later in the video. He's shown to be very evasive during this fight and using his blades to slowly whittle down Hercules, on top of being able to escape with his piano wires when needed. Pretty much setting up traps is Jack's specialty, putting Hercules in a position where there's no way to defend against his assault. This may work on many of the other gods throughout the series. Even when Hercules is transformed, we see Jack dodge many of the attacks up close and be relative in speed. And Loki even saying that Jack is pretty capable outside of all of his bluffs, so base to base Jack is still quite underrated already. Ares believes one direct hit from Hercules in his transformation and Jack would be done, but he tanks one right to the face and survives another to the body and once again to the head. You may be asking, how was Jack able to do this, as these attacks at a weaker level were already shown to be able to break divine weapons? First off, he defeated Hercules at the end of the fight by turning the blood on his hands into a divine weapon and then using that to pierce him. Perhaps he was using his own blood as a divine shield throughout this fight. Or is Jack's durability just amongst the best in the series? Perhaps Jack turning these weapons into something that could harm the gods isn't the same of like having a divine weapon or shield or anything like that, but Loki does claim that they're divine weapons, so we don't really know about that. I would love to know what everyone watching today's video thinks about this down below. It is pretty interesting, and I guess could be wanked to argue Jack's durability is just insane. Of course, one of the most impressive things about him is outsmarting all of the gods. Jack with prep time could very well be a motivate from Bucky type situation with this in mind. So his intelligence and I guess battle skill and planning is just amongst the top. Okita also considers Jack strong, which is pretty interesting. Once he fights, this may have more or less importance. Now I'll break down his matchups with everyone else that has fought thus far in the series. So against these fighters, I think Jack loses regardless of having London or not. Zeus time stop. Adam at his base when he was pretty much dead fighting Zeus should be way faster than Jack. Buddha has future vision that kinda negs him. Huang is way too versatile, has many options to really deal with Jack. Beelzebub, this pretty much outstats him. Same with Hades and Poseidon, too fast, too strong. Sasaki has his scanning. All these characters pretty much this are too strong for really Jack to deal with convincingly. I could just imagine most of them ending it very quickly. Now onto the Jack could win category. This is pretty much, I guess, me wanking Jack as much as possible. So him winning against all these guys probably isn't very likely, but there's a possibility considering all his planning and the way you kinda think about certain things I talked about in today's video. So setting up some type of trap and then raining down blades, or if they don't really have any insight of Jack's abilities, he could catch many of these guys potentially off guard. Tesla may be someone not really worthy of this category. He probably goes into the Jack losers once we get to see more from him, but for now, he's in there. Against these three, Jack wins, of course. He defeated Hercules in the fight. Zero, I think Jack just outsmarts and absolutely finesses. And the Damas, we don't really know, I just put him in here because why not? And then I think Jack actually defeats Ares without London, because Ares is, you know, bottom tier trash. He was going to lose against pre-labor Hercules, let that sink in, and Jack's able to fight hand to hand against transformed, maxed out Hercules. Even though he had one arm, he's still able to pretty much trade blows, dodge, etc. like that. So Ares, not strong at all. And yeah, that's everything for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Check out all the other stuff in the description if you haven't already. And of course, shout out to the mad lads who support the channel via the Patreon. But that's it, guys. Peace.